Hello, I'm Tony Brassington and I've got this channel called Tractor Nut. On this particular video I want to talk about this Case 1594 that I've got behind me here. I've actually driven it since it was brand new. I am a farmer's son, and when I left school I went to work on a local farm which was quite a lot bigger than my father's, and they had two brand new David brands when I was there, a 1390 and a 1490, and some years later they bought this 1594 four-wheel drive, which I left that farm after about 6 years, but I always wanted to own this tractor and plus the other David brands that I worked with. But you know, you couldn't do it when you were that bit younger and you first get married, starting the family and all that stuff. There certainly isn't money for luxuries. Well, some might see it as luxuries, but non-essential, shall we say. This tractor, I've been left that farm about 10 years. I drove down the A38 and I actually saw it in a dealer's yard. Recognized it instantly. Went up close to it, took a good look. You know, I recognized, shall we say, little scars and scratches that I knew that had happened to it in its time. A colleague drove it into a telegraph pole in a field, so there was various dents relating to that. Yeah, so it was definitely the right tractor. Again, I still couldn't justify buying it at the time, but I kept the registration number, and some years later I was in a different position and I did track it down. It found its way to Wales by then, and I was in Worcestershire, so we hired a lorry and went and brought it back. What follows now is a few photographs which show it coming back to Worcestershire, and it shows the refurb that it was much in need of by that time. Hope you enjoy it. The opening images show the tractor being strapped to the lorry, ready for the return to Worcester. If you look closely at the photographs, you can see it's very much in ex-farm condition. Generally straight and solid, but it does definitely need a few jobs doing to it and a fresh coat of paint. When it arrived at my dad's farm, one of the first things we did was put the trailer on, and we drove around the farm, and all the family members had a go on it in various different fields. My dad was quite pleased to see it arrive, because my Case 1594 could certainly do a few jobs that my dad's Fortson Major certainly couldn't. I didn't restore the 1594 straight away. I was saving up to buy the David brand 1490 that I used to drive years ago, but we did put a new set of back tyres on it. As you can see from these two photos, I did get my 1490, which was generally in not too bad a condition at that point in time. If you look closely, you will see some green weights on the front of my 1594. They were actually counterbalance weights out of a pedestrian forklift that I made fit as a temporary measure. They were actually quite useful and worked quite well for a time. Now, you couldn't get a grey seat cushions no more for the 1594, so I reupholstered what was left of the Grammar seat cushions with grey material, which was quite serviceable for a time. I bought and collected the 1594 in December 2001. From that time I did a few small repairs to it, and it did quite a bit of useful work. Then in May 2004 it was time to put it into the workshop and go right through it. I put in long days with early starts and late finishes. I actually did 80 hours work in the week and quite transformed it. I did all the electrical stuff, got all the wires working, all the lights, stripped everything out of the cab, rubbed it down, spray painted the black paint and the wheels, roller painted all the white panels, new decals on it, and when it was finished I even put a little whale sticker in the back window as a finishing touch to it. The green weights on the front, which had been a bit scruffy looking when painted David Brown orange, actually looked quite the part on the front. I also put new upholstery in the cab, so when it was finished the whole tractor just looked fabulous inside and out as the photos show. And then it went out there and did a bit of useful work.